Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Friday and it is the 14th of November. As usual, this video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. And please do remember that if you are trading based on some of the things I'm saying here, you could lose more than you have invested, especially if you are trading leveraged products. But again, there's no advice. I do not give advice whatsoever. It is purely a training video. So let's start with the S&P 500. Yesterday got beaten down 1.7% almost. Massive sell-off across the board. However, there were some stocks that was still doing okay, and some sectors that were doing okay, and there were some stocks here and there that was also doing okay, but in a general picture most were down, but the thing is, we're still above this rising trend line here. We dipped below here about a week ago. We could test it again, but we have been warned for quite some time that there is divergence here on the RSI indicating uptrend exhaustion short term. But still 6,550 key support level. The Nasdaq 100 also sell off here back below this minor support there at 25,142, but key support area down here at 24,186. That should be observed. Then we will go into a full-blown bearish trend if we close below there. So for now we are still up. Also, the Dow Jones got hit by selling, still uptrending tax, support there at 46,758. There's some support, key support down here at 45,470. So there's still a little bit of way to go, but we have divergence or trend exhaustion indication across the board. So let's have a look at the I lost the charts there. Sorry about that. There we are. Here's the Nasdaq 100 again. Look at this trend line. They're still above it. Support to 24,652. That's the cash index. Here pre-market, still sliding a little bit lower. Let's see if it can stay above the rising trend line there, or will we go into a bearish trend? We're still above the cloud. We are still positive sentiment. So there's still a few hopes to hang on to here, but it needs to get back above at least 25,723 to resume uptrend. Pre-market here also on US 500 is sliding lower. What also got hit hard yesterday was the small caps, especially. Here is the Russell 2000 ETF illustrating the Russell 2000 index, and it closed below support there at 237.50. And has actually confirmed the bearish trend also with the RSI. You can see there below 40 threshold. So we are actually in negative sentiment, bearish trend, and I think we could see the Russell 2000 down around 231, 226. Support area possibly down here around 230, 231. The Hang Seng index, well, I have to say though, there can be, of course, some buying the dips and all that, bottom fishing, but it seems like cat is out of the box, at least for the small caps. They are really struggling there and will probably struggle throughout the year. In the Asian market, Hang Seng, we have also sitting back this morning, but still in an uptrend, still holding on. RSI in a positive sentiment slightly, so we're still in bullish trend above the cloud, so maybe it can hang on a little bit more. But of course, if US market starts selling even harder, well, then it could also be affected. But for now, still bullish trend until we actually take out, and that will be the next one here at 25,496. The Nikkei markets or future here has been rejected up here just above 51,330, 51,545 to be exact. The 61.8 retracement there, and could set back, but it needs to go back below 49,125. Then we have a bearish trend. There is RSI divergence also indicating that the uptrend has been stretched. We talked about we had this top and reversal pattern, so maybe we could also sit back a little here. Unless it takes out these peaks here from a few days ago, then uptrend is likely to resume. Europe also got hammered yesterday. EUROStoxx50 reached the 138.2 projection here, just above 5,800, and then it got hit by selling. RSI though get back above 60 threshold. So we are still in a positive sentiment, despite the fact that there is divergence, as you can see. Even if you adjust this, it's still declining, so uptrend stressed. But let's see if it takes out the spike up to yesterday, then the uptrend is likely to continue. But for now, expect some setbacks there. And pre-market, we are a tad lower, but still positive sentiment, despite the fact we have some divergence. So it will take a little bit to turn into a bearish trend. DAX also got beaten pretty badly yesterday after actually trying to establish a bullish trend. It did establish it, but it wasn't confirmed by the RSI not closing back above 60 threshold down there. So that was a little bit of a worry that has to be taken into account. 100 moving average giving some support, cloud support there, but especially 100 moving average. But if it slides back below 24,000, well, then it could be in jeopardy, and we could see sliding lower. And here pre-market, we are just a tad above it, so that will be key to watch throughout the day. On the FX market, it actually unfolded as we talked about the past few days. It could spike up to the underside of the cloud. It could spike up to the 55-100 moving average. It didn't get all the way there. Can still do it, but RSI here, look at that, still below the 60 threshold. So next few days could be key. Will it close above or push above 116.70? And RSI needs to close above 60 threshold to further confirm a bullish trend. But for now, it is basically a counter trend or correction in a bearish market. So let's see if it slides back here, or it can get back above there. If it slides back, then we could see it continuing, resuming its downtrend. Sterling dollar spiked high yesterday, but couldn't hold on. I still see it, the bearish trend resuming, and especially if we take out that spike down there at 130.80, then I think we will see a challenge on 130 and possibly also a break below. Moving averages up here declining, to 200 moving up, so that's dragging a little bit the other way. So it could take some time. We could be sideways ranging here. Euro sterling pushing higher, so a weaker sterling there. Pushing higher towards 88.54, the 138.2 projection, and I think we'll see it pushing higher in the coming weeks. We can see we have to go back all the to 2023 to see some levels here just above 89.70, 75. So there is potential higher. We are in a bullish trend, and for now. There's slightly a divergence building up, but I think we will continue higher. Unless it takes out the lows here this morning, then we could see it being caught here down here. But to move into bearish territory, 87.60 is the support. Dollar yen seems to really struggling here at 155. Spiked a little bit above again yesterday, but it's caught here and caught in this possibly a rising wedge-like pattern there. Will it break out and confirm 152.80? If it takes out that, then we can see a push lower to the 151 area. But for now, we are still in a bullish trend. However, it is quite stretched. So let's see, but keep an eye on it. If it takes out the 155 really, then there's potential higher. But for now, a bit stretched. Euro yen pushing higher, getting close to or haven't touched the 180, just a few pips from it. I think it will take it out, and I think it will push higher in the coming weeks. But do expect some correction here around 180. Could see a little bit of a setback down to 179, and then I think we'll continue higher. Looking at the weekly chart, I mean, we have to, I think I mentioned yesterday, we have to go back to the 1990s to see levels like these levels here on Euro yen. Aussie yen couldn't hold on to that spike up, got almost up to 102, didn't get all the way up to the 138.2 projection. Can still do it. We're still in a bullish trend. However, there is divergence, as you can see, trend exhaustion indication. So could struggle to really keep momentum upside. Sterling yen resistance at 204.25. A key resistance if it takes it out, and it's basically closing above, maybe closing a week above. I'm not quite sure it will do it. I think we'll see a little bit of a setback now. We could see it sliding back to the 202 here the next few days, and maybe then we'll try again. The Aussie dollar spiked higher yesterday. I think when we spoke yesterday, we were up here in this area just around 65.75. Just rejected here at the 786 retracement and then got knocked back down again. So we are still in this big range here, and I don't think it will be broken anytime soon. If it takes out these lows here from a few days ago, well, then it could slide back to the 64.50, where we then have some strong support in this region, 64.50, 64.40. So still big picture of range bounding. Dollar Canada starts bouncing here from the 61.8 spot on 139.84, bouncing here, and I think it will slowly crawling higher here in the coming days towards the previous peak and continue higher. There's no divergence on the positive sentiment on the RSI, so it should push higher towards 142. However, if it takes out the lows from yesterday, then we could see it down to 139.40. Sterling Canada still range bound here, 185.50 and 183.20. That's the area range needs to break out. I think it will break out to the downside, and we'll see a push towards 182. But again, I need confirmation. EURUSD has been hit by sell-off, as we talked about the past week, that it was likely to be hit by. Testing these lows here, very close to just a few pips from it. Let's see if it takes it out, then we could see it below 92. Otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of correction up to around 92.50. Dollar Swiss below sort of support there, sell off there down yesterday. We are opening below here, and I think we could see it pushing lower. We can see actually also RSI back below 40 threshold. We could see a test down here at these levels. Let's see, give it a little bit. If it takes out the lows yesterday, then I think we are looking at these lows possibly lower towards 78.50 and maybe lower. But we could also see a little bit of a counter trend, so beware. But we have a resumed bearish trend there. The dollar index has dipped, as we talked about. It could do that. Actually dipped a little bit further. I did expect it to go down to 98.73. Didn't get all the way down. Can still do it though. But then I think we will turn around. You see there's no divergence there on the RSI, still positive sentiment. So if it starts moving around here, and it will do that if dollar index starts climbing above 99.50 again. So still in a correction phase, could take it down higher, but I think it will turn around eventually. So let's see about that. We have the 55-100 moving average coming up there. So there's still risk all the way down to these levels here at 98.32 with the 786 retracement. But we're not there yet. But keep an eye on what's happening with the lows from yesterday. Moving on to gold. Was actually above 4,200, pushing towards the 786 retracement there at 42.75, and then got hit by selling. We could still get up there, and I think we'll do it eventually, probably not before the weekend, but RSI is still above 60 threshold, positive sentiment, could crawl higher. I think this is merely just a correction. That could take it down to 4,100, and then I think we will crawl up again. The silver that was front running it, you can see it's just below the previous peak there, and now it's setting back, and the correction could hit. Let's just adjust this a little bit so we can see what's actually going on right there. 38.2 here at $51. I think we could set back to that, and then we will have another go at the peak there. Let's see about that. That would be key towards can it take it out and push even higher towards 57 and so on. Platinum, well, of course, also a lot of volatility yesterday. Still trying to get up and catch up with the two other precious metals, but for now it hasn't done. It needs to get back above 1662. So we're still in the overall bullish trend, just some sideways raise trading here. 1494 to the downside is the key support there. Copper struggling also for momentum. It takes some time, but look at this. In about a week or so, I think we'll see 55 also crossing above 100. So the underlying sentiment and trend is bullish, but it's a little bit uncertain with this range trading behavior here. I think it will slowly crawl higher, but it could take some time before it do that. Possibly next week maybe, let's see. However, if it takes out 488 and especially 482, well, then we have a bearish scenario. The crude oil here, WTI, bounced a little bit this morning. We're still in this negative bearish trend here, short term slightly, but in the overall picture, we are also in a bearish trend, and it needs to get back above 60 to establish a bullish trend. Same picture on Brent Crude, of course. It is 66.78. It needs to get back above to establish a bullish trend. So for now, we are still in a bearish, sliding bearish lower. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, expect it to be hit by a sell-off. European nat gas tested the previous lows here from August at 30. If it takes it out, well, then we are looking at below 30 down to around 29. We have to go really far back to find these levels here, and it doesn't really give much sense to talk about support area. I think we will just see it sliding even lower below to at least down to 29. So really heavy there, which gas consumers should be happy about in Europe. Moving on to the US nat gas spiking higher again. Well, let's just have a bigger picture here on the weekly. Getting very close to 49. You can still do it, but it is stretched that you can see RSI sideways here, and it's some profit taking also coming in maybe. So there's still a risk of a setback if you're long, so be careful. But on the medium term, I think we will see going into the winter, could see higher levels after maybe a correction. Moving on to the interest rates and US Treasury yields, the 10-year range here, 4.5 and 4.16, but it's actually 4.20 that is the really key resistance up here. So look out for that. I'm not quite sure what it will do. Will it turn around? I think actually it will move higher, but I need confirmation, so no certainties there. And finally, let's look at the European yields. We had the EU10 jumping higher this morning, and let's remove this one because it's obsolete now. So pushing towards 272. It did drop back to 264. I did expect it to drop back a little bit further, but it didn't do that. And now we are opening much higher to 272. So pushing higher here. It seems, unless it takes out the lows from yesterday at 264, then a downtrend has been established. Oops, that was the wrong one. The UK 10 also here hasn't opened this morning. I think there's a little bit before it opens, but still 437 key support down here. Japanese still being rejected at 171, and that will be key once again going into next week. Can it break higher? They are not happy if they do, but it could still in an uptrend. Finally, we have cryptos and Bitcoin that got been sold off here the past week or so. Most of this week dipping lower, and we are below 100,000. We were at already yesterday, and could slide lower to 95. Let's just get into that. There we are. We have to go back to early this year in May, where we saw some consolidation, so we could actually see it sliding lower in this region here between 95 and 93. Ethereum didn't take out its low there. Could test it later today. If it takes it out, well, then we're down here in the region around 2,800. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and a nice weekend, and talk to you again Monday.